Today on The Young and the Restless, Kyle's triumph falls flat with Claire. Sharon lures Daniel and Lucy out of their apartment, and Nick acts as the voice of reason for Phyllis and Summer. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At Crimson Lights, Phyllis laments to Nick and Summer that Heather lived the last moments of her life with fear and violence. What's worse is that Daniel and Lucy now have to live knowing there is someone out there who would do this to Heather. Nick reminds her they don't know how Heather died yet, and speculation isn't helpful. They need to be there for Daniel and Lucy. Summer asks if she should go over and be with her brother or give him space. Phyllis thinks they should start putting together a memorial service for Heather. Summer will help however she can. Phyllis can't imagine what her son is doing right now. In her car, Sharon tells herself to calm down. She takes deep breaths and thinks that they won't lock her up for the rest of her life. She can't let that happen. She doesn't need Cameron anymore. This is her life and she's going to fix this once and for all. Sharon just needs to get Daniel and Lucy out of that apartment. Should she just wait until they leave? No, someone might see her there. She has to think of something else. Digging in the tote bag, she pulls out Heather's cell phone and looks up Daniel's contact info. In his apartment, Daniel's phone dings. He picks it up and reads it. Lucy appears and says she couldn't sleep. Daniel says he couldn't either. He promises they will get through this. Her mom would want them to be strong and brave and lean on each other when they feel sad. Lucy says she'll be sad forever. Daniel thinks Heather would want them to be happy again one day. I really believe with all my heart that she is going to be with us every step of the way. Right here in our hearts. That's forever. Lucy asks what he was looking at on his phone. Was there a message about her mom? Please tell me. Daniel says, I got a message a few minutes ago. It came from your mom's phone. Lucy jumps up. She knew it was all a mistake. Mom's alive. In her car, Sharon sits holding Heather's phone and waits. In Daniel's apartment, he tells Lucy that someone found her mother's phone and wants to return it, that's all. I saw her body, loose. There was no mistake. The text says they found the phone and they're looking for the owner. He needs to get it in case there's a clue that tells them what happened to her. Lucy wants to come with him since she can't sleep. She needs to be a part of this. Daniel agrees to let her come. Lucy insists they need to do this now. In her car, Sharon reads Daniel's text asking to meet to get the phone ASAP. She replies, yes. Let's meet. Audra encounters Kyle at society and guesses he's feeling pretty full of himself. She warns this is not over and she won't roll over and hand him and Victor glissade on a plate. Kyle tells her it's done and what comes around goes around. She's wasting her time. Audra says he's a fraud and has no idea what it's like to work for something and fight for something. Kyle says it was just business. She's just going to end up banging her head against the wall. Audra will keep trying. She'll prove she can not only play with the big boys, but beat them. He's never had to struggle, but hers has been nothing left. I'll be damned if I let you take this away from me. Kyle smirks. I already have. On Crimson Light's patio, Nick suggests Phyllis and Summer ask Daniel and Lucy about a memorial service and let them decide if they want help. Phyllis is so nervous that this whole thing will push Daniel back into that black hole. Summer says he's a different person now. He knows he has to keep it together, not just for himself, but for Lucy. They have to let him be the one in charge. In her car, Sharon watches Daniel's car leaving the parking garage and slumps down in her seat. Once they've passed, she whispers, there they go. It's time. Sharon makes her way up the stairs to Daniel's apartment and lets herself in with Heather's keys. She pulls the bloody towels out of the tote bag, flashes to wiping up Heather's blood, and shakes her head. Grabbing the towels and Heather's phone, she pushes them into Daniel's liquor cabinet and closes the cabinet door. At Crimson Lights, Claire says Kyle seems happy. Did something great happen? He grins, you have no idea how great. She learns that Audra was fired and he arranged it. Kyle says he created a scenario where he got to shine and Audra had no answer for it. Claire shrugs, okay. She questions him being so gleeful about it. Did she really deserve to be fired? It seems sneaky and underhanded. Kyle says she would have done it to him in a heartbeat. They couldn't work together, so he accelerated the process of getting rid of her. He won't apologize for that and wants to celebrate. He asks Claire to join him at the jazz lounge. At society, Audra tells Sally she was about to murder Kyle Abbott. She explains she got fired. The investors set up a ridiculous competition to decide who was the top dog and she lost. How Kyle so impressed Victor is anybody's guess, but he did it. Then boom, I was out. Sally is so sorry. She knows how hard she worked to get the company away from Tucker. It's not fair. She asks what she'll do. Audra says her instinct was to fight, but it's Victor Newman. Sally's been there. Audra doesn't want this to blow up in her face. Sally talks about things blowing up and trying to figure out to move forward. Audra tells her she's a true friend, but she wasn't talking about her just now. That was about her and Adam. Sally admits, maybe a little bit. But she's not there to talk about her. Audra assures her she has all the time in the world. At the club, Daniel and Lucy walk in and look around. Chance is sitting at the bar. They decide to sit and wait, so they walk over to Chance, who asks Lucy how she is. She says, not great. Chance tells her that her mom was a great lady. He lets them know he's back at the GCPD, and he officially has Heather's case. Lucy frowns, her case. Daniel asks if he's saying Heather's death is now an official police investigation. At Sharon's place, Faith is relieved when her mother comes through the door. She asks where she went so late. Sharon argues that it's not that late. Faith counters that it's later than when she usually would go somewhere. It would have been nice if you told me. Sharon apologizes and says she just went for a drive. She thought she was asleep. Faith complains that she didn't leave a note or answer any of her texts. Lucy's mother just died from going out alone at night. You can't keep scaring us like this. On Crimson Light's patio, Summer and Phyllis don't understand why Heather would suddenly need time away. She would never do something like sneaking out. She was a direct person. Summer questions why she'd end up by the river. Phyllis wonders if she got attacked. Nick puts up his hands. Okay. I love you both, and I know you very, very well, obviously. I think instead of trying to come up with a bunch of wild theories as to what happened to Heather, I'm suggesting to you just stay out of it and let the police figure it out, okay? At the club, Daniel asks Lucy to let him talk to Chance in private. He sends her upstairs to see if her Aunt Summer is there. Daniel tells Chance he really wants to know how this happened and why this happened. Chance will do everything he can to get those answers. He cared about her too. Daniel knows they have history. Chance says he asked for this case. This is personal for me. Daniel pulls out his phone and shows him the messages. At Sharon's place, she apologizes for scaring Faith. She was feeling restless and needed to go out, but now she's back and is perfectly safe. Faith asks, "Did it help you?" Sharon says it did. It gave her time to reflect on things and to not dwell on the past anymore, but count her blessings. She assures Faith that things will get better now. I really believe that I turned a corner tonight. Sharon learns that Faith texted Maria and feels bad that they don't trust her to leave the house. Faith explains that after what happened to Heather, they were scared. Sharon agrees that was awful. They have to be grateful for every moment they have together because it could all be taken away. Faith feels bad for Lucy and was thinking of reaching out to her. She might want to talk to somebody. Sharon thinks that's lovely and thoughtful, but it might be good to give her some time first. It's just all so fresh right now. Faith frowns. At the jazz lounge, Kyle asks Claire if she's still upset with him. She's not upset. She knows what it feels like to want to prove yourself. She suggests if he's doing it for someone else, perhaps he should think about why that's so important. Kyle needed to prove he belongs in the big leagues, and it feels pretty good to say it and believe it. Audra thought she was better than him, but now she's unemployed. He's taking a lot of satisfaction in that. Claire asks if this has anything to do with their romantic history. They did sleep together, didn't they? On Crimson Light's patio, Phyllis asks Nick if he's saying they shouldn't help with the investigation. Nick says her just saying the word investigation scares him. Summer agrees. They talk about Chance being back on the force. Summer says he's missed it and he's good at it. She knows he'll do everything he can for Daniel and Lucy.